Hey Jen, one more tip if you're trying to edit line work below a certain point in your file. So maybe what you could do is when you're editing this line, if you wanted to have a different characteristic below this water line, you can use something called the cut tool, and you can access that by hitting C in Illustrator, and that's going to bring up the scissors, and then you can actually cut lines at different points. So I'm going to cut it at the intersection of the water line, and again on this side. And now these lines are separate entities from the above water lines, so you can change their characteristic. You can't change the fill, so if you wanted to have two separate fills above and below the water, you would have to have two rectangles to fill. But what you could do is create an overlay for the water that would kind of obscure. So let's say you wanted to have these paths at a lower line weight like this, and then you wanted to have your water go in front of that. I would maybe make, oops, I don't want to delete that. I want to make a new layer, and then I could use the pen tool. And I'm just going to lock all of these so that I don't actually go onto the layers, but I can still use them as reference points. And I'm just going to make like a rough water selection that goes here, where your water is. And then I'll give that a fill of some kind of a blue, light blue color. And if I double click on the color, I can just lighten it up here. All right. I would want to make this semi-transparent. So I could either change the opacity here and make it overlay this line work beyond, or I can keep it at 100% and go to the appearance panel over here and change the fill to a blend mode of multiply, and that will basically kind of blend this layer together with the background layers. So then we just need to worry about hiding the water with these. And basically what I would do then is, of course, I have to unlock these layers. I would select this rock layer. Maybe I'll select both of these and just join them using Control J, and now they're all one object. And I'm gonna just duplicate them by doing a copy and then paste in place. And then I can drag this down onto my water layer, turn off everything else. And I should be able to create a clipping mask here. Okay, that didn't work, but what I could do is use the pen tool to close this, this off so that it creates a shape, and see if that works. That worked in the opposite direction. Okay, if that doesn't work, what I'm gonna do is bring up my Pathfinder palette, and there's a Pathfinder here. This allows you to sort of use shapes in different ways to cut out other objects. So I can just kind of click through these and undo if they're not working, but there we have one that actually grabs the profile. So this mode, which is minus front, will allow you to remove the shape of an object that is in front of it in the layer hierarchy and just leave like a void or take away that part of the line work and leave the rest behind. So now we can call this water. And if I turn on everything else again, then I have this independent water layer that I can manipulate with opacity, and it's not interfering with anything else, but it is kind of looking like it's over top of the pillars in the background. And of course, as I mentioned, if you want to edit these lines, you can use the C tool, which is the scissors tool, to chop up these lines and give them their own characteristics below the waterline. So hope that helps. There's also a way you could do this in Photoshop, not change the line weights, but you could just add an overlay of water onto a new layer and use that to sort of obscure what's beyond.